All right, we're going to open up the February 21st meeting. We'll call to order invocation. I'll do the invocation. Then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Wilson, and then roll call. Please stand, please. Heavenly Father, thank you for letting us be here this evening, leading us through the things we need to do for our city. We appreciate this Prairie Lake Elementary School. We wish to have you watch over us as we go about our business. We want you to watch over the first responders, the fire department, the police department, and anybody else that deals with the first responders. We ask these in these names. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Brinson?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson?
Here.
Mayor Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Firstner?
Here.
Commissioner Oliver?
Here. Okay, we got presentations and proclamations, recognition of principals, is that strength? From Prairie Lake Elementary for being named Principal of the Year for OCPS, and we have Orange County School Board member Melissa Bird here. So, all right, who's taking over?
I will.
All right.
Thank you so much. And by the way, this boardroom is beautiful. You guys are very lucky. Is this one right here? Okay. Thank you for allowing me to be here today to celebrate our very own hometown celebrity. And he just does not like the attention, as you can tell. Mr. Robert Strength of Prairie Lake Elementary School. He, as you said, he has been named OCPS's Principal of the Year, but I'll get to that in a minute. Let me tell you a little bit about this man. He is a servant leader who champions his staff and students at Prairie Lake Elementary. His upbringing has shaped him into the educator he is today. Strength's mom was a single parent who didn't finish high school. They moved frequently, so he grew up without a hometown or extended family. He also struggled with his academics. Strength decided to become a change maker after he graduated from high school. He pursued an education career because he wanted to be the teacher he never had as a child. For more than 20 years, Robert Strength has strived to ensure all of his OCPS students have a promising and successful future. He goes that extra mile by filling in for teachers when he needs to, answering phone calls at the front desk when he needs to, and providing his assistance in the cafeteria and the nurse's office. As a principal, Strength has created a family atmosphere where everyone is accepted. He also has worked with Prairie Lake Elementary teachers and students to increase their school grade from a C to a B in 2022. Because of all of these reasons and so many, many more, Robert Strength was named the OCPS Principal of the Year about a week ago at our Stellar Awards, where we honor our Teacher of the Year and Assistant Principal, Principal, and Support Person of the Year. This award recognizes outstanding principals who have succeeded in providing high-quality learning opportunities for our students, as well as demonstrating exemplary contributions to their schools and their communities. There were 3 finalists selected in OCPS, which is quite an honor if you think about the fact that we have 210 schools now in OCPS. So for us to pick 3 that were amazing examples, and then to have our own Principal Strength win this award from among all of our principals in OCPS was quite an honor, and that's why I wanted to be here tonight, just to give him a little extra special recognition because he has done such a great job representing our city. He made us all so proud that night. I think our area superintendent and I were screaming at the top of our lungs. We were so excited for him. So we're just so happy and excited to have him represent our community for OCPS. So thank you for giving me this time to recognize him. Congratulations, Principal Strength.
Does that say doctor? Sorry. My eyes are not that good. I was trying to stretch. I said, I think that says doctor. You want to give him a little talk? Come on up.
Here? Oh, this one? Oh, okay, sorry. I just want to say, thank you for the recognition of our school. I have some people here from Prairie Lake. I even have my first secretary, Gail Comacher, when we first moved over there from Claricona. And I just have special people. I just kind of show up and ask what's going on, and, they do the work. They make that place special. And it's just been a blessing to be there for 11 years as the principal and to have the time to be able to hire people and create a culture, and I'm just blessed to be there. So thank you all for this.
Well, what I'd like to say before you step away, I apologize, we didn't get a chance to do a proclamation, and I'd like to do a proclamation. We'll get it brought to you, or you can come back and we'll present it to you. So I apologize for that. We'll make sure that happens. So,
Thank you so much.
that way, can we all get down front and all of us get a picture together?
Sure.
Huh? All of them, everybody. Teachers, everybody. Let's all come up front and. Have a good evening.
Thank you for coming. If you can use this door over here. Thank you for sitting up front.
Okay, staff reports.
None at this time.
All right, public comments. I have none right this minute, so we'll wait till the end, I guess. All right, consent agenda. Anybody have any comments or want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as written.
Motion made by Commissioner Oliver for the consent agenda. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Forster. All right, let's vote. Unanimously passes. Thank you. All right, first reading of ordinance. First reading of ordinance amending the City of Ocoee Municipal Police Officers and Firefighters Retirement Trust Fund. Pension Board Attorney Herrera. That's first reading, so we won't be doing that. So you got anything to read?
Yep, I will read it.
Yeah.
This is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida relating to the City of Ocoee Municipal Police Officers and Firefighters Retirement Trust Fund. amending ordinance number 2010-019 as subsequently amended. Amending Section 1 definitions by amending the definition of average final compensation and salary. Amending Section 8 disability, amending Section 27 deferred retirement option plan, amending Section 30 supplemental benefit component for special benefits, Chapters 175 and 185 share accounts, providing for severability of provisions, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
Does this come back on the second reading? It doesn't have a date on it here.
Right, March
No,
7th.
They didn't put it down.
Sorry.
So we'll do this, second reading will be March the 7th. Okay, second reading of orders, none, public hearing, none, regular agenda. Let's move over to number 5, the approval of contract to purchase 182 North Lakeshore Drive, Development Service Director Rumor.
Thank you. Again, this is a authorization to proceed under contract with 182 North Lakeshore Drive. And it worked earlier. It's a computer or which one? There we go. Okay, so should the Honorable Mayor and City Commission authorize entering into a contract to purchase 182 North Lakeshore Drive? Where is the parcel? This parcel is right around the corner on Lakeshore Drive along the bay. It's the property highlighted in yellow, which is adjacent to another parcel the city currently owns, and we also own that little rectangular one in front of it. This property is adjacent to the City Hall, or the Lakefront Park and City Hall complex. We do have some other properties, ownership in the area. This property is identified in the red on this map. It's contingent to the City Hall property and facilitates many elements in the vision plan for downtown, which has all the elements of the land going around the lake, including the recording studio, which the city does own. Here's another view. So this property is for sale by owner. Staff recognized the sign out there, reached out to the property owner, and was able to, with a appraisal, come in really close to what the property owner insisted they wanted to sell the property for, and that sale price is $309,100. They were wanting, and were selling it for by owner to get $310,000. The city appraised the property, came in at $281,000, and then what we looked at was if we were taking the property for eminent domain to incorporate into the park, what we do when we do eminent domain, the eminent domain attorney, based off of past authorization, goes forward with appraisal value plus 10%. And this price is the appraisal value plus 10%, which is consistent with doing it the way we do it under eminent domain. The benefit here with this property being adjacent to the park, it ties into possible future improvements to the park, but we don't have to go through the eminent domain process and also pay other attorney's fees and consultants on top of that. So this, again, this property is adjacent to city property. It's in the area of the park master plan, and it is available for us to go under contract. The property owner has agreed to the contract and looking for authorization. Thank you.
All right, let's see, you have anything to read on that? Nothing? All right. It doesn't say.
It's just a regular item there, so it's just for discussion and then a
That's what I'm
vote.
gonna do.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask commissioners, any discussion, please? If not, we can vote, but if you got discussion, let's hear it.
I had a question. Do we, with this agenda item, do we go to the public first and then see if there's any comments, then bring it back to the commission, or will we procedurally go to the commission, then to the public? Does the public have, I guess my question is, can the public weigh in on this?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This isn't a public hearing per se, but I think past practices are if someone wants to speak to it, the mayor will recognize them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else up here, any comments? Anybody?
Are you gonna open it to the public first?
Yeah.
Or then are we
Well,
doing
I'm-
comments afterwards?
Yeah, we said we didn't have to have a public hearing on it, but I'm just saying, if anybody in the public wants to make a comment, they're welcome to come up, fill the form out and talk. All right?
If not, I just have a couple of questions. I have a couple of questions if the
Okay.
public is
All
not
right.
gonna ask. Director Rumor, I see there's, the 2 parcels that we're already own, but there's 3 parcels to the west of, those properties. One is like it's cut in half and the other one's a full plot, a lot.
Yes, sir.
Are we looking to possibly acquire them in the future as well?
The answer would not be no. It is, having land adjacent to city and within the park proper area makes sense to do that. This one being adjacent to the right-of-way definitely gave it an extra check. So would we? I don't want to scare people, because when we did the park master plan, the attorneys went out there and said the city wants to buy you out, and that's not the direction we received, and that's not what we proposed. This one, just being on the east side of the property we own and adjacent to the right-of-way, made sense. And so if they ever put it up for sale, we'll look at it to see if it provides a benefit, and then we would come forward as like we do with this property.
Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
What would be the future plans if we were to obtain this lot? What would be the future plans, understanding that City Hall would be, it's condemned, the old City Hall is condemned and going to be torn down. With these 2 lots being in close proximity, what would be the future plans of those lots as it pertains to the City Hall land as that building will be torn down?
Yes, Commissioner. That would be brought back before this commission. We do not have a definitive plan for that property. Again, with City Hall, once the City Hall is raised and we move the next step on where that old City Hall sat, this provides the opportunity to incorporate more lands to make a redevelopment of that area better. Just in area-wise, if you look at the parcel we own on the west and this one, it would give approximately more space than the parking lot outside of the old City Hall here. If that's an opportunity to do parking in the future as a temporary use, but we would bring that back for consideration. So under the vision plan, it showed a lot of future activity along the lake. Specifically, some of the pages showed density of housing, but this would be under the capital improvement bonds. This would be a part of the park. And then we would own almost every property that faces or touches the city's complex.
Let me cut across I'm gonna cut across the street here to the music studio. How long would it be before that building is acquired by the city?
2 years. 2 more years.
Yeah, I believe that was the discussion. The last time we looked at that is they have 2 more years worth of payments to make before we have 2 more years worth of payments to make before we
Right.
fully own it outright. That building is also incorporated in the master plan as well, and we would be fine tuning those things and bringing them back to the commission, but we heard a lot of public comment when we were doing the downtown master plan about having, maybe a restaurant down there, having more public uses around the cove, things like that. So there will be a plan that'll be put together and it'll be brought back to the commission.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
No, but I'll make the motion to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Firstman. Any more comments?
Are we ready?
I want to make a couple comments about it. There could be eventually couple of things really. One of them would be parking. Eventually with all that property down there, we could be parking. The other thing is we're trying to figure out how to do a boat ramp around that area sometime down the future. We have that lot beside the ditch, and then we have the other house. This house just adds to that. Someday we might be able to have a boat ramp there where we can move it out of the area than the other part. So that's it. Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right, comments from the public.
We got item 6.
Oh, we got another? Oh, appointment to the Planning and Zoning Board. All right, City Attorney,
I've got it.
fill that slot.
We have a vacancy on the Planning and Zoning Commission. In order to run for a commission seat, Scott Kennedy resigned his position on P&Z. So we need to fill that vacancy. The process that we followed in the past is each commissioner brings up to 2 names to a city commission meeting, and that's what we're proposing here. And then a majority vote would replace, would select someone to fill the remaining term of Mr. Kennedy, which would expire in June of 2024, so a little over a year for that position. But the city clerk is requesting that if you have someone you want to include for consideration for that position, to bring the names to her by March 3rd so that we can get all the information together and on the agenda for the meeting, first meeting in March, where that person would be selected.
Melanie, is there anybody turn one in?
Currently, we do not have any applications on
Okay,
file for that.
all right, so next meeting. Okay. All righty, is that okay with consensus with everybody?
No, not for me. And because this is, even though this board, I think, is a statutory board, but it's still a board. And we just decided not to do business, not to allow the HRDB to do business until after the new commission was in place. But now here we are doing the same.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a difference in this one. Our ordinance requires that the city commission appoint someone within 30 days of the vacancy. So that's the difference here. Per the ordinance establishing the Planning and Zoning Commission, commission has an obligation to fill that vacancy.
Right, and I understand that, and I looked at that as well, but I also believe the commission has an obligation just as the same to fill the HRDB slots. And so I'm not understanding why the HRDB is taking a back seat when it's obvious that we can do it if we want to do it, whether we have to do it because of ordinance or whether we have to do it because it's the right thing to do.
Well, we have no names there. So she's telling us to not come back with two names apiece.
Right, that's the first meeting in March.
Yeah,
This is
Yeah.
really loud.
that's 2 weeks, so. How many, well, can you fill out the form, yeah, come up, you're the chairman, right? I'm gonna ask you a question.
Isn't this a quasi judicial board also,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. While you're getting ready to talk, I want to ask you a question as chairman. You have a reserve or an alternate?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Brad Lomneck, Veronica Place. I think we can solve this real easy. We do have an alternate member that is on that board now that we could lift up tonight, and then we would have a solid board still.
Who's the alternate?
Joel Keller?
All right,
Yeah, there's nothing prohibiting Joel Keller being appointed the replacement. The issue, I think, is Keller's term, if that were the case, would take Mr. Kennedy's term, which would expire in 2024, essentially giving up a second year for him as the alternate. Now, he'd be a regular member and not an alternate. Then we are left with a alternate position. Now, maybe the timing works that we have some seats coming open in June anyways. So if Mr. Keller was appointed as the permanent replacement, then we could select an alternate at the time we select the commissioners whose terms expire in June.
Well, in that case, you could table this till after the till after the election, being as there is an alternate member to give us a full board,
Yeah,
or continue it, excuse me.
there's no, there's not a quorum issue,
Yeah.
because the alternate steps in, and is able to vote in the place. All we're doing is suggesting we do the appointment, is just following the statute, or following the ordinance that, required the commission to fill that vacancy.
What's the purpose of an alternate if it's not, besides the aspect of moving, if someone's not there to vote, but what is the purpose of an alternate if you have an opening not to put that person in? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just confused.
I get it, I had to read it several times to understand, but that's not the way the ordinance is drafted. The alternate is there to step in on any given meeting if someone else isn't there. They don't automatically become the next permanent member when someone resigns.
What's our 30-day time frame? When did,
It will have passed.
by the third?
When did,
What date?
January,
Huh?
January 20th.
yeah, so we're already beyond the 30 days if we appoint someone in March.
Well, not quite.
Can we temporarily appoint Mr. Keller until such time as, which would satisfy the 30-day time frame, but would give us the opportunity to peruse this at our next meeting? Would that be?
Yeah, I would suggest we not, I would suggest if we're going to appoint someone to fill the vacancy, that we do it at the March meeting, consistent with the ordinance of commissioners bringing names
Okay.
to the meeting, and then deciding at that meeting.
No, so I'm clear, are we saying at the first meeting in March or the
First meeting in March.
second meeting in
Yeah.
March?
First meeting in March, March 7th, I believe.
Yes, she says.
And city clerk is requesting names by March 3rd so that we can provide the backup information on those names in the agenda.
Can I also request that the clerk sends us the current names and the districts that the individuals are from? I know, I don't think the ordinance specified that, but maybe it would be good if we were just sent the names of who's on there currently.
I can tell you right now, you have Brad Lomneck, whose term expires in June of this year. Jason Mellon, whose term also expires in June of this year. Levon Williams, term expires in June of '24. Lou Forges, term expires in June of '24. And the alternate Joel Keller, whose term expires in June of '23.
Okay, thank you.
Well, if it's a alternate, why can the alternate not fit in there? If they have a meeting before that date, the alternate just fills in, that's what they do, right, Melanie? The alternate fills in for that empty slot until we name it.
Currently, the way the code is written, the alternate steps in when a member is absent.
Yeah.
But that member is not absent, he had to resign.
Right, this is
He's not
this is a
absent.
vacated
By way of
seat, not an
resignation.
absent.
Well, we can, well, looks like we'll just.
Well, it sounds about the same, absent, vacant, the seat's open. And if we need to continue to do business, I don't see any reason why we need to wait or hesitate, because we have an able-bodied member that's willing to step in and do the business of the city. And I think that's what we need to be looking at. Just keep the city moving.
You just have one
Need a
alternate?
motion.
How many alternates are there on that?
Just one.
Just one? Okay.
Do we need a motion?
Yes.
Scott, what's the motion that you would suggest?
Well, per staff recommendation, the motion would be to select the replacement member of the P and Z at the March 7th City Commission meeting, and for each commissioner to bring up to 2 names, if they want to the March 7th meeting with getting those names into the city clerk by March 3rd.
I'll be happy to make that motion if that's what you suggest.
Huh?
I'll be happy to make that motion at the attorney's
All right.
suggestion.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Furstner. Any more discussion? What I would say is the alternate fills in, filled in.
What, was that
No.
was that a change?
No? No, I'm just making it.
So the alternate fills in until
I
the
could
third?
have discussion after we got the second and all.
Okay.
I'm just saying,
Yeah, I just want to make sure it
No,
wasn't
no,
a
I
change
didn't
to
make
the original motion.
no,
Okay.
no,
So,
let's vote.
so, before we vote, during our discussion, so if there's a planning and zoning meeting, prior to the next commission meeting, the alternate would just simply fill in, that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so that meeting's been canceled. So I want to go back to what Commissioner Brinson mentioned about the HRDB. Again, we're able to have a discussion about another board, and we're able to move forward and figure out how we continue, that board will continue to operate. But again, with the HRDB, we decided to suspend that board until an election, but we were able to make a decision. We were able to make a decision a month ago, and even prior to that, there was members on that board, or actually, it wasn't an issue of whether applications. We had applications. We had plenty of applicants that was in every district, but yet still we decided to belabor that and kick the can down the road until after the election when we were actually able to make a decision. So I'm going to agree with what Commissioner Brinson stated about allowing us to make a decision on that board. We could make that decision tonight if we wanted to, because we have members that have been waiting to sit on that board and allow them to operate and continue to go about the business of the city for that board. So again, I will make a motion. After we make this vote, I will make a motion that we go ahead on and make a decision about the HRDB and allow that board to continue to operate.
All right, I get my thought process.
The difference,
Go
I'm
ahead.
going to say the difference between these two boards is one is quasi-judicial and the other is not.
I don't know.
And so we don't have an ordinance regarding the Human Relations Diversity Board. We have an ordinance regarding the planning and zoning.
The other part of it also is we each pick a person. So the only two that would want to do that is you, Commissioner Oliver, and Commissioner Brinson. So the only two that looks like they weren't ready to pick any of it tonight would be two, so that's not gonna make it. So we get everybody voting, we put it off to them to pick, each one of us, each commissioner gets one, and the mayor gets one, and then we get to pick two from all of us. So, all right, motion's on, go.
So in other words, you're saying you're not ready to
I'd
pick,
like to
if that's
call a
what we're
question on
saying?
this- I'd like to call a
Question's been
question on
called,
this,
so let's
on this,
vote
on
on
this
the first.
motion.
Okay,
Question's been
Okay.
called, let's vote on this motion.
Can you restate that motion?
Well,
Sure, if you don't mind.
no, I
You want me to
appreciate
restate
it.
it?
Yes.
The motion is to appoint at the March 7th City Commission meeting the replacement to Scott Kennedy's seat, and to submit names by March 3rd to the city clerk.
All right? All right. Go back and vote again, huh? Vote?
Did we vote on this already?
No, we haven't
Everybody
voted,
vote?
and I called the question because we were going into a different area. So,
Let's vote on that motion.
yes?
No, go ahead.
Motion carries unanimously. All right. Comments from the citizens?
Don't look at each other.
All right, comments from commissioners. Commissioner Oliver.
I need to ask if, I'm sorry?
I'm talking to city clerk.
Oh. I need to ask Mike Room if he's still here to come back out front if possible. I hear a door.
Anybody call it?
Did he hear, is he still back there?
Doors,
Go.
I don't know.
Hang on a minute, I'll look.
Might have already left.
That's one of those moments you can hear a pin drop. So, I'll move on until we get him out here. But I wanted to ask about, again, the Clark Road widening project is something that is, has been really on the forefront of a lot of citizens in District 4 as we have been waiting on that project for years now. And then we got the signs up and we are still about a year and a half, almost 2 years behind schedule. In the meanwhile, traffic is getting worse. It's getting worse and worse daily, especially as projects are completing. There's homes being built and it's causing some major traffic situation on Clark Road. And I really would like to know when can we actually see some dirt being turned on that road so we're able to hold someone accountable for this. Again, I know we've had some issues, but it seems that we're kind of kicking the can down the road here with that project, and I would like to see that project on the move. And it sounds like Steve or Mike's probably the only one that can answer that question, not unless, Craig, you have some information about that project.
I do have some information. It's probably frustrating. We're all frustrated because when you have a project this magnitude, it always brings some things towards the end of getting ready to break dirt or break ground and start building. We've had a request for additional information from the St. John's Water Management District on the stormwater permits that we're in the process of responding to. And that was the last thing that I have been told is hanging it up. We've addressed the design issues related to access to the lift station. We've addressed some stem wall issues, and that's the only thing holding it up right now. So we actually have a meeting about it every week, and I know that Steve and Mylan have been very responsive to St. John's, so the ball is back in their court, and that's the only update I have.
Okay, but no date as far as when we're gonna see some dirt start moving?
No, because until we get the stormwater drainage permit signed off by St. John's, we can't officially break ground.
How far off are we from getting that permit signed off on?
Well, the ball's in their court, so we've submitted all the information we're supposed to submit. They're reviewing it. It's you know this, but it's a state agency, so it's in their review cycle, and as soon as we get a sign off on the design, we'll be ready to move forward. So
Does the State Water Management District have a liaison that they deal with for every district, every area?
They do.
Is that liaison a part of your discussions every week?
I'm not sure because I'm not part of that. Our engineering staff is meeting directly with the Water Management District. I know that the liaison has been to numerous commission meetings and she has worked with several of our departments. So I'm not sure. I can't answer that.
Okay, again, I'm not a part of those discussions, but it would seem to me that that liaison should be a part of our weekly planning meetings in order for us to be able to have firsthand knowledge as to what they're doing. They should be invited to those meetings to determine how far we are in turning that dirt or how close we are in turning that dirt. So maybe just a suggestion, maybe invite them to come to one of the meetings and say, hey, what can we do to help you guys to move this forward a little faster? And again, that's the Clark Road. That's really, one of the big things that I have. Also, one of the other things that we've been discussing is speeding on Ocoee Road and what has happened since January the 1st. I received an update from Chief Placencia. We've actually had 60 citations written from January 1st to date along that road. Even though we are shorthanded on patrol officers, we're still writing tickets. So citizens, please just be patient with us as we replenish our patrols on the streets, but we are actually writing tickets. So we had 38 warnings, but 60 actual citations was written, and there was actually 3 criminal citations that was written along the road as well. So things are happening, if you don't see them or not, but I just wanted to give you that information regarding that. And finally, I wanted to discuss, or actually just talk a little bit about this election cycle and some of the things that we've seen during the election cycle, such as signs being torn down and removed, particularly my signs. But nonetheless, we've seen some things in the city that just is not indicative of what our city is all about. Our city is about inclusion, diversity. Our city has wonderful people in our city. I've been here for over 20 years, and I have met some magnificent, wonderful folks all over this city. And I love the city, and I love the citizens of this city. However, since this election cycle, as I'm running for mayor, I've seen an ugly side of the city. There's an ugly side. It's a small faction. I'm not going to say it's a lot of folks. It's just a small faction of and things that's been said, innuendos as we stand on the corners, those kind of things. And those things happen. And it's okay. There's people out there like that. But that's okay too, because the majority of us here in this city are about diversity, about inclusion, about being one Ocoee and loving thy neighbor. And the majority of us are here for that. And there's folks out there that's like that, but there's no place in our city for folks with that mindset, the mindset of hatred or mindset of disruption. There is really no place in our city for folks like that. And my proposal is that the folks out there that want change for the city, that want to be able to say that, hey, we don't condone those kind of things, then stand up. And again, we can eliminate those things through love, through our love. And in this case, our love to vote. The way we love to vote, we can eradicate hate. And that's how we actually send a message to those that are permeating those things in the city. But again, small few, but we're talking about 99% of our citizens, wonderful, great. This is a great city. It's just a few that have to understand that there's no space in the city for that type of behavior or attitude as folks are out there. So I will also leave you with this. Even if sometimes you pray through the gritting your teeth and clenching your fists, try to call upon Matthew 5:44, and it says, "But I say to you, love your enemies, bless those who curse you, and do good to those who hate you. Pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you." That's a word for the majority of us. I will yield to the commission.
Commissioner Fershner.
First, I'd like to thank the Ocoee Women's Club for the wonderful job that they did putting on the political forum for the commissioners as well as the mayoral candidates. They did a great job. A lot of good information was passed back and forth. The questions were magnificent. Thank you very much. You did a great job. Also, I'd like to thank everybody that was involved with opening up the wellness park. And that has been quite successful since it's opened. Every time I go by, there's always someone there using the exercise trail. And it's really refreshing to see, but that was done very well too. The ceremony was nice. A lot of people turned out for it. Well done. And the last thing is the Music Fest. I'm sure the mayor wants to say something about that, but March 10th and 11th, come out to the Music Fest here at Lakeshore Park. It's going to be great. Thank you.
Commissioner Fershner, Commissioner Wilson.
You wouldn't have a chance there. Just want to go ahead and let everyone know, I know it's hard to see this, but the shred event will be taking place on March 18th at the police department from 9 o'clock to 11:30 a.m. Please bring your confidential documents to be shredded on site. It's one event. The other interesting, or should I say it's interesting to me, I spoke at the Wellness Park, I spoke to Daniel Webster's aide. And I was explaining to her about our zip code issue that we have. The three, mainly in my district, it's 32818, that's been an issue. Didn't seem to be aware of it. In the meantime, today was contacted by someone else from his office. And what I'd like to do is to ask, by consensus of the commission, to ask the city manager's office to follow through with this. We have all the documents that we have had over the last 14 years, if at least that.
Yep.
And I think if Craig, you have all the documents, I'd like, if you would go ahead and connect with Daniel Webster's office on behalf of us. So I'm asking for, if you don't mind, Mayor, the consensus of the commission in order to do that. I'm
Consent,
concerned about 32818, but I don't know,
yeah,
Yeah.
That's good.
okay, everybody consensus, yeah.
okay, thank you. Okay, that's it, thank you.
Commissioner Branson?
I have nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Couple, did you say nothing, or did you say nothing? No. Okay. All right, let's get to Clark Road. Clark Road has been something we've all, as a group up here, been working on for years. When they first started, it was all about getting Arden Park built before we'd start doing a 4-lane highway anyway. Right, Greg? So that goes back, that just happened, Arden Park in the last year or so, 2 years. So that's when it said we'd start with the 4-lane of the road because of the impact fee credits and everything else, which it has started. We can't do anything with St. John's Water Management. If you know them, that's the problem with that. So that's not our fault. But Clark Road, one of the problems, I go there every day, and when you pull up coming from the south to Clear Corner Road, they back up to Orchard Park or further, but there's no turn lane on the left turns, on the turn lane. There's no turn light. There's no turn signal. So everybody sits there, you let 2 or 3 cars go through, then the light changes, and then they're back down the road again. So somebody, Craig, has got to call the county. I know we don't set those lights, so I've brought that up before. That light still has no turn lane, just as Silver Star and Blueford down here also has no turn light. So we need to have that addressed. Let's get to the signs. There's not a person in here that runs for office that hasn't had their signs bothered with. Amen. Ask that, gentleman. So, but I don't see anybody getting out and doing a video saying it was done by a certain type person. You have no way to know. The same place they were torn down for you, Commissioner Oliver, mine was torn down too. Now, I didn't go tear mine down, I know, So, but that you don't have to get out and, it's not a joke. I guess it is to you, but it's not a joke because, all the signs, I think not Commissioner, but Atkins' sign was down, mine was down, his was down, Scott Kennedy's has been down. I also went up where my signs is put kind of like where you put them up there around yours, and somebody run over me. Coincidentally, when they were messing with the other one there, run over mine. So that's no sense in putting out a thing saying it's all to do with diversity. It has nothing to do with diversity. It has to do with somebody being, I would say, stupid, is what I would say. So, that's just to make an ant out of a molehill or whatever you want to call it. Signs, I've always done that in all the years I've been here, somebody messes with signs. A lot of times it's kids. But now I've found out a lot of people take the little signs and take the metal things out because they're $2 and use them for garage signs and stuff. So that's a good business to be in if you really want to do it. So couple other things before I go to the music. I heard another erroneous comment the other night about the police being only 40 deputies on the road. So my wife called the police chief. There's 109 police officers' positions. 92 of them are currently working. 10 are having background reviews to hire, and 7 are in the academy. So that brings us up to where we're supposed to be. We're not short with 40 people on the routes, folks. It's easy to make comments when you're in a debate. That's one of the erroneous comments that was made. The other one is about the Music Fest that was brought up again. Seems like the Music Fest is a big thing. If you will check with a finance director, she'll tell you that's not true. It's not illegal. You'll check with the city manager, he'll tell you that's not illegal. You wanna check with, I don't know who else you wanna check with, but it's not illegal. So, I don't know if you looked into it or not, but it's not illegal. It was done, and matter of fact, everybody sitting up here voted for it. Everybody. All commissioners voted for it. So, no, but if you wanna make that comment, prove it. You can't. All right. Chili cook-off. They had a chili cook-off last Saturday. I think there was 40, somewhere between 42 and 44, and it was great. There was a lot of people there. A lot of people came in and had different functions. They had a band playing, a couple different bands all day. They went from 12 to 4 and they had a great time. There were a lot of people there. A lot of people with different organizations were there also. So it turned out to be a good day. And I think they want to be doing that every year. So we're looking forward to that. So election time is March the 14th. We have, Melanie, make me sure I'm right, we're not having one at the Adair Center, right? Nobody at the Adair Center, right? Can you read off where we're having?
Correct. So our polling locations for District 1 and 4 is Jim Beach Center.
Jim Beach.
For District 2, Ocoee Lakeshore Center. For District 3, Fire Station 39.
So it's 3 places?
Correct.
Because I had a lady tell me she was going to the Adair Center, and I said, no, we're not doing it
Yeah,
there.
the Tom
All right.
Isom Center is used for general election, not municipal.
All right. That's what I wanted to make sure of. All right. So March the 14th will be at Jim Beach Center. It'll be here at Lakeshore Center and at the firehouse on the south side of town. All right. Any more comments? Meeting adjourned.